Mr. Dalton, have you done your mantra yet?
The Human Torch was denied a bank loan.
Welcome to Craft and Chaos, episode 2. Oh my gosh, we actually got one in the bag, and we came back for more, and that means that you came back for more. So thank you, dear listener. This show is essentially a bunch of creative people, that's us, talking about what keeps us inspired in very difficult times. We're talking about the projects we're working on, things we have done, things we hope to do, and then just sort of checking in to see how everyone's doing. So let's go around and introduce ourselves, because it is only the second episode, so there's a very good chance that people do not know who we are yet. So let's start immediately to my left on the screen, aka Horsey Thornton. Misty, give a brief bio of
Horsey Thornton is a little alias for me. I wish everyone could see the video recording of the podcast, because we troll each other all recording long by changing our display names. And we're
having fun with you, but we're also having fun with each other.
That's right. And our group text thread is called "But You're a Horse," and so we like to do horse puns. Hi, I'm Misty. I am a creative producer, a podcast producer, a creative strategist, an integral coach with 15 years experience working across television, documentary series, scripted TV, hundreds of podcast episodes, political campaigns, and I'm absolutely drunk with power with a microphone in front of my mouth. And that's how I want you to remember me. And I like to say.
Immediately below me, Brady Bunch style, is the acclaimed author, Ryan Dalton. Tell us a little about yourself, Ryan.
Well, hello. You gave it away. I'm an author.
Cool. All right. So let's move on.
No, okay. I guess I'll say a little more.
That was inversely proportional to Misty, so I think it sort of balances out.
Brian's bringing that just hardcore no butt energy again. You guys get ready.
I'll have nobody can shut down a real nice conversation flow like me. It's just yes, I'm Ryan Dalton. I'm author of 5 published novels, and more to come in mixed genres. Anything from sci-fi to different sci-fi to contemporary with a bit of fantasy thrown in, to other sci-fi again, and maybe some urban fantasy at some point in the future. So lots of fun stuff.
Ooh, can I ask, what's urban fantasy?
Typically fantasy tropes, but in a modern day setting.
I like that.
A very basic breakdown.
Is there any smut in it? Because that's all that Horsey Thornton reads.
It's usually human on something, like human on demon, or
right. I do love dragon smut. But
Truth.
Keep going, please.
All of my work is disappointingly tame. It's very PG-13.
But is there tension? Is there tension?
Oh, there's some tension. There's some smolder, yes, but the payoff is very vanilla, if I'm being honest.
Hey, you let the reader do the work,
right?
You say the scene, and then they can take it from there.
I leave it up to them.
That's an act of generosity, creative
Fade
generosity.
to black.
Is what that is.
So probably the most famous thing people refer to as an example of urban fantasy is the Dresden Files. That's a good example.
I would say Constantine. That's
Constantine. Yeah.
I totally know what both of those are.
Okay. Cool.
And I only recently throw that in as something I'm working on, because one of the 2 things that I am currently working on is my very first urban fantasy story. So, yeah, and it's got monsters and stuff, so it's gonna be super fun. That's me.
Cool.
Right. And rounding out our queer quartet is Mr. Pete Wright, the podcast impresario.
Hi. I make podcasts all goddamn day. I make podcasts. So many podcasts, and sometimes I write. Some of my best writing is in the show notes that no one ever reads. So they are
really fantastic.
Nailing it.
Yes, they are. I was quoting you to you.
It was a real When Harry Met Sally moment. No one's ever quoted me to me before. No, everybody's too young. Okay. I
No,
get it.
I know
Whatever.
exactly.
No, I'm
the
with you.
scene.
I'm with you.
It's the
All
double
right.
date, baby.
The double date.
I have an older sister, and she's sort of the typical sort of type A driven. She's incredibly smart. She's a college professor. She's has all these accolades. She's a doctor, I should say. She has her PhD, and here I am. But so typical like second child stuff. But I get along with her. She's great. But she had a bunch of really cool friends in college, and I was 2 years below. So by the time she got to her second year of college, I was, sort of like in awe of these college people that were around. And there were a bunch of guys that she hung out with that I got to then hang out with, and they were all super nerdy, but like not just in a like, do you like Star Trek? But like these guys were computer guys. They were engineers. They were incredibly smart. Even in college, they were already looking at their masters and going for these huge things. But they're also extremely funny, and that's how I learned about Monty Python and Fireside Theater and all of these things that I had never heard of before in my quiet, sheltered little life. There's this huge amount of things. But one thing that they would do was whenever one of them made a reference the other one didn't know, they would ask for a footnote. So someone would say something like really true, and they go, can I get a footnote on that? And then they would go, oh, that's actually from, the Neverending Story when the horse is stuck. Oh, right. Yeah, gotcha. And it wasn't like a judgment thing. It wasn't it wasn't calling anybody out. It was just like, hey, I don't know where that's from. Could you tell me where that's from? So I always like to establish that here as well at Craft and Chaos. Last week, our first episode was great, but I made a joke and Ryan didn't know what it was. And then we moved on, and I felt bad because I'm like, oh, I was sort of leaving him out because it was you guys. So
if it makes you feel better, I didn't feel that way at all. I just thought, I don't get the reference.
Exactly.
I appreciate the segment.
But the same thing. But if you're doing that, chances are there's like 10% of the audience, 20% who also don't get it. So I would just like that as a soft rule amongst the four of us, that we would have that if there's something comes up that you don't get, or I think you just ask for a footnote, and it's no harm, no foul. It's just like it gives us a chance to like talk about a thing that we really like, or that we thought about, or that we referenced, and then everybody gets to be on the same page. Is that cool?
I dig it.
I'm in.
May I approach the bench?
Pete's against this, all right?
No, I'm in favor of it.
You may approach.
But when I was growing up, excuse me, when I was growing up, we used Footnote too. But it was a different thing. It was a marker of distraction. So I would footnote myself if I had a story and something else popped up, and I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's going to be too long of a sidebar. I'm going to say it later, footnote, and come back to it later. And somebody had to keep up with it, or they would never get the answer.
Oh, so your footnote was a bookmark.
It was, yes. So I wonder if there's room, because I'll do that a lot. So I like the idea of footnote
and bookmark.
And bookmark. Okay. Footnote and bookmark. Good.
Okay.
Good.
And feel free to use those in your lives, audience.
Convention.
And how often did you successfully come back to your bookmarks, Pete?
Yeah.
God, I had some anal friends, and they were tracking everything.
Yeah, we're below the belt today.
There was at one point. Jesus, at one point.
How do they feel about Botox?
At one point, we were thinking of doing a podcast called Parenthetical, and all it is talking, and if you switch subjects, somebody had to keep track of the parenthetical, and by the end of the episode, you had to dig your way back out.
I would say I once saw Kevin Smith speak live, and for those of you who know, back in the time that before he got a podcast, before podcasts were a thing, Kevin Smith would go out and do these marathon sessions where he would just go to a college, and that's what happened to this be, and talk for hours just about whatever it's. So we were listening to him talk, and he was talking about all this stuff about like in Canada and getting high and all these things. And I leaned over my friend. I'm like, do you realize we're 8 digressions deep at this point? Like I started counting them off, but I'll give him credit. He brought it back.
He brings it back.
Like he went all the way. He did 8 digressions off of his original point, but then went and just hopped right back to it. I don't know how his brain works, because I would get so lost by the time I'm like, where was I? How did I end up here?
I'll say his like 40-minute recap of the experience of writing Superman Lives, the Superman movie that never came out,
Yes.
is epic and incredible to listen to.
Yes. Anybody who wants to know about what it's like to work in Hollywood, especially on high profile stuff, needs to listen to that story because it is. I even played that for my daughter who doesn't even know Kevin Smith stuff. I'm like, you need to understand.
It's just a beautiful bit of storytelling
and what they were doing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So, all right, so there we go. Checked in. So we have our first ad break here, and then we will get to sort of the main meat of our thing. So this first ad, it comes. We live in diversive times. We live in a time where people are divided against each other. They are, house against house. People are angry and fighting about all kinds of stuff. But there are some things in this world that everyone can agree on, and we need to find those things and celebrate them. So that's what this ad was, more of a PSA than anything else, is about.
This episode is brought to you by Pancakes. Pancakes. Light, fluffy, golden brown, and delicious pancakes. You had them Sunday mornings as a kid, and now you can have them whenever you want. And no one can stop you, no matter how hard they try, because they don't know what you know. That's right, pancakes. Delicious, iconic, part of your complete breakfast, impervious to fear pancakes. Why not grab a stack right now and toss them on the old plate? Are they on your plate? Good. How about you slather them with butter? Go ahead, don't hold back. There's plenty to go around. Now the syrup, do that next. Drizzle it. Drizzle it. Just let it pour. Let it fall over your pancakes. Try not to remember. The drizzling syrup doesn't remind you of anything. It's just pancakes after all. Harmless, wholesome pancakes. Completely pure. Pancakes. No one can take them away from you. Not this time. Not ever again. Because they remember what happened last time. They remember what they made you become. Yes, pancakes. Grab yours today. Demand them now. Pancakes are eternal. Pancakes are inevitable.
Wow. Pancakes.
Pancakes.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I wish I could see the moving images that accompanied that ad.
Yeah.
For us.
Kyle,
it was real edge of seat kind of stuff for me over here. That was incredible.
I feel you should all know that the email that I sent to Kyle said, I realize I got really weird with this.
This is the place to get really weird.
Wait, so the sponsor is you? Is that what we're at? Oh, I had no idea.
Well,
I thought that was like the International Pancakes.
I mean,
Council.
The sponsor is Pancakes. They just hired me to be the voice of Pancakes.
Okay, yeah, good.
So
everybody needs a voice.
I'm the spokesperson for Pancakes, but
Lucky.
of course, they kind of.
And I'm the spokesperson for gluten allergies. Here we go. No, I'm kidding. I am honored to bring you to Misty's Trivia Corner. Thank you. We're going to have sort of a friendly family competition. Everyone play along together. And I have written a few trivia questions about famous creatives. And I'm going to go one by one. You'll each get a chance to say or guess the right answer. And the person who wins is going to get let's say it all at the same time, is going to get a horse. I'm gonna give you a horse. Now, I didn't.
Oh my God, I went into vapor lock on that. Complete vapor lock.
It's like that improv game where you're like, let's say the same word at the same time, and everyone's like, wow.
Yeah.
Now, notice my fine print is I can't guarantee the size of the horse, but you will get a horse. Okay. So, who wants to be the brave guest and start?
Pete does.
Pete does. Okay. I saw Pete really. Pete's like so dismayed. Okay. I am going to set you up with a fact about a famous creative, and you can guess right off the bat. If you're not sure, I will offer you multiple choice. Okay. And if you still can't get it right, someone can steal from you.
You're going to give me the fact, and I need to guess who it is.
Yes. And if you don't know off the top of your head, which you better know, I will give you multiple choice and you can guess,
Okay.
or someone else can steal it from you if you did not get it right.
Okay.
And we'll award points. And I'm expecting all of you to keep track of the points. Okay. Pete.
Yes.
Peta.
Hi.
Which famous author was rejected by publishers 30 times before getting their first book published and later admitted that they hung all their rejection letters on a spike in their bedroom as motivation? Hint, they went on to sell over 350 million books and have numerous film adaptations of their work.
Let me just say this about that. There is a place in San Diego that is a University of San Diego, UCSD. And there's a library there that is one of my favorite locations ever. And I happened to do a photo shoot there, and in the process learned a lot about a particular author and I think we're talking about the same one, because the story does not feel apocryphal. It feels like this was a thing that Theodore Geisel said, and that is Dr. Seuss. Are we talking about the same person?
We are not talking about the same person, Pete. I'm so sorry. Okay.
Well, let me just say what's important is that also happened to Dr. Seuss.
So he was rejected like dozens of times, and
and used those as
numbers.
motivations.
Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
The funny thing is, I hear 30 rejections. Psh, whatever.
Yeah, right.
Talk to me when you hit triple digits.
Okay.
All right. So who is it for real?
Well, Kyle and Ryan, I'm going to give you the multiple choice. Okay, we've got
you. I don't need it.
I think we both know it. Go ahead. You jump
say
in.
Say it at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
J.K. Rowling.
Stephen King.
The correct answer is Stephen King. Thank you. Okay, Kyle, you get half a point for the steal. Okay.
Ooh, how much of the horse is that?
It's a few wisps of the tail.
You get the leg.
Horse, but you'll only need the hooves.
You'll get the whole horse, but it gets sent to you in pieces in the mail. So.
That's right. Again, the fine print. You will eventually, over the next few decades, receive a horse. Okay, so Kyle, because you won, I'm going to you next.
Okay.
Which Oscar-winning actor has released 2 jazz piano albums, regularly performs at music festivals, and once said they practice piano for hours each day, but hide when people walk by because they're embarrassed? Hint, I have a hint. They're known for their intense method acting.
Okay. My thought was, first is the ooh and the ah, then the running and the screaming. Jeff Goldblum is my guess.
Excellent guess, and it's just so wrong. It's just so wrong.
Okay. I think the problem is I was going with Jeff Goldblum too, but I don't think he hides from anybody.
Right. Okay, would you like the multiple choice to choose from?
I think I'm just going to take a shot.
Okay.
And I don't know the actual story. It's just because you said intense method acting, so it makes me think Daniel Day-Lewis.
I agree that makes you think that, and I agree that you're wrong. Okay.
As expected.
So your 3 options are A, Jeff Bridges, B, Meryl Streep, or C, Russell Crowe.
Jeff Bridges is the one that you would say if you just were going for the one movie that he did where he played the piano, the Fabulous Baker Boys. That seems like the MacGuffin in this particular question. I think you actually used a masculine pronoun for the question. So I think Meryl Streep is out. So what was the third one? I don't even remember, but I think that's the one.
It was the lead singer of 30 Odd Foot of Grunts.
Yeah, Russell Crowe.
Also the worst Javert in the history.
Yeah. He was like, I don't know what to do with my hands. And we were like, why did you forget acting?
He pulled the Ricky Bobby.
The truth is that the MacGuffin is the McTruthin. It is Jeff Bridges.
It's Goldblum. Or it's Bridges.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff
Bridges. Yeah, he has
dude.
2. Yeah, he's Oscar-winning actor and has 2 jazz albums.
So for whoever said, if you said Jeff Goldblum for this one, you would have gotten half credit
because of Jeff. It's
Jeff.
another Jeff.
That's how that works. That's how that
Excellent
works.
pull.
Okay,
Yeah.
so no one gets a point for that. Kyle's in the lead with half a point. Okay. The
Really
final,
Putting him on the
dust.
board.
the final question. We got another author here. This is excuse me. This is for Ryan Dalton. Before becoming a best-selling author, which writer spent 15 years trying to make it as a musician and even opened for Kiss, only to sell exactly, quote, 4 CDs, including one to my mom? Hint, their books have now sold over 225 million copies worldwide.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Would you like a multiple choice?
No. I don't know the answer, so I'm just going to say TV's Patrick Duffy.
The man from Atlantis?
I'm asking for a footnote.
Oh, excellent. Wow,
Yeah.
we've got one on the board.
We've got one on the board. Okay.
Right.
Is it?
You
This
want your
is
footnote now or you want to do it later?
this is now well in a
Let's
second.
finish the
Let's
game.
we
and
gotta
then
hear
I'll-
the question.
Right.
This is now for Kyle and for Pete. Is it A, John Grisham, B, James Patterson, or C, Nora Roberts?
What?
I should have given
I
the
know that
multiple choice the
John
whole time.
Grisham
yeah.
is in the Remainders with Stephen King.
Yeah.
So I know he does
The
have
Rock
some
Bottom
musical
Remainders?
stuff to it, but I don't know
Yeah.
if he's old enough to have done stuff with opening for
With
Kiss.
Kiss. James Patterson was he headed up a marketing firm before he quit to write. I don't think he did any music.
No, I'm putting my stuff on John Grisham.
I'll go for
internet's-
Pelican
Nora.
Brides.
The internet says James Patterson.
Wow.
What?
Mhm.
Patterson.
That's what the
That's
internet
crazy.
says.
All right.
That's what the internet says. Okay, I also have a bonus one, or we can move
Okay.
on.
No, bonus would be
Oh,
fun.
bonus. Bring the bonus.
Yeah, this is the tiebreaker.
Yes, I'm dominating the court with half a point.
That's right. That's right. And I'm going to give you the multiple choice for this one. So, which legendary filmmaker was such a notorious procrastinator that they built an elaborate train set in their office and would spend hours playing with it when they should have been writing scripts? Hint, they directed some of the highest grossing films of all time. Is it A, James Cameron, B, Steven Spielberg, or C, Christopher Nolan?
Spielberg was going to be my guess even before you said
Yeah,
the
I mean,
choices.
I've seen Meet the Fabelmans, so
Yeah, right. It's a big
Spielberg.
Fableman thing.
So all of your answer is B,
Yeah.
Steven Spielberg.
Steven Spielberg.
I am proud to say that you each get a little piece of a hoof of a horse,
Nice.
but Kyle still gets a few hairs.
Yeah.
Okay, there you go.
Right.
Okay, and I would like a fancy sound effect out. Thank you. That was Misty's Trivia Corner.
Yay.
Yay.
Hey.
What fun.
Shall we do another ad?
No, we should
No.
answer. Footnote.
No.
Gosh,
Oh,
Pete.
footnote. We need a footnote sound too. This is
Exactly.
going to
I'd
be a
say
fun edit.
who would like to take a thing at the short bio of Mr. Patrick Duffy?
So, well, I'll tell you the root of me making that joke is there is a very random joke in season 1 of South Park, which debuted like 84 years ago. There was this monster, I think it was called Scuzzlebutt, that was supposed to be this mythical monster that lived like in the mountains in South Park, and one of his legs was literally TV's Patrick Duffy.
Jibbity poke! It's the real Scuzzlebutt! What? Scuzzlebutt's real? Oh my god! Look at his leg!
Hi, kids. I'm TV's Patrick Duffy.
Quick, Dad! Shoot it!
And it was so random, and literally it was the living man that was the like one of the legs, and I'm such a fan of weird random humor that 5 people in the world will find
That is
funny.
a deep cut. Yeah.
And it has stuck in my brain for 20 plus years, and now every time there's something like this where I don't know the answer and it's a person, I always just want to say TV's Patrick Duffy. So this time my dream
Beautiful.
came
Yeah.
true. Thank you very much, Misty.
you. My naivete is your treasure. You're welcome.
Pete, what television show was Patrick Duffy famous for being on?
Well, I first
He
discovered
has
Patrick.
a unique, claim to fame.
Yeah.
in
Yeah,
pop
well,
culture,
I mean,
so.
I first discovered Patrick Duffy in the shower in a little place called Dallas. 326 episodes of Dallas, and my parents were all over this show. So yeah, I grew up with it.
So just a small aside about Dallas, because it was a big deal for a long time. It was the #1 drama on television for a long time. And there was the Who Shot JR, if you ever heard that, that was from Dallas. And Bobby, it was about a Texas oil family, and then all the politics and sex and violence that go along with that. There was a very famous thing where he was the younger brother of sort of the villain and main character of it, and was a super fan favorite, popular, and then got tired of being on the show and got killed off on screen. Death, dead, funeral, he's gone. And then the show continued on, and the ratings dropped, and it was not as popular, and so they offered him a ton of money to come back. And there's a very famous thing of the season premiere starts, and his widow walks into the bathroom and sees him alive and showering. And it turns out they just erased the last season.
The entire season, a dream.
Just like,
they
nope,
retconned
none of that ever happened. It was all a dream.
It was all her dream over one night.
It was like they retconned the entire
Fans were
Oh
not
my God. There's got to be a different way to do that.
right?
Wow.
Evil Twin, I mean, Salt's been doing it forever. But yeah, so that's Patrick Duffy's unique mark on pop culture.
Thank
funny.
you. I'm glad we have footnotes. That was really interesting.
I'm going to tell a story about being a writer and sort of one of the crucial points of it. And then we're going to do a little activity together in the same way. But no trivia will be involved in this. You can rest that part of your brain. There'll be another part of your creative soul I'm going to be activating a little bit later. A number of years ago, I got a chance to be in a writing contest. And I know that Ryan has done some of these as well. And essentially, this one was to write 5 pages of a screenplay in 24 hours. So at 7 p.m., you would get they ran like a location, a genre, and a prop, essentially. And you'd have 24 hours to write 5 pages of a screenplay and then turn it in by that time. And then there's you pay to be in it, and so there's a contest, and there's money to be made and that sort of thing. But it was more just the excitement of doing this. So I had gotten my prompt, and I was already starting to think about it, and I was going to go to bed. This is the time I had a child who was in a crib, my youngest daughter, Paget. And so in the middle of the night, she woke up and was upset and so too. So I went out and I, sort of soothed her and laid her back down. And as I was coming back into the bedroom, I felt something in my foot. And I had thought like, oh, I stepped on a pin. I stepped on maybe the safety pin was open, maybe a staple, something like that. And it was between my toes. So like it was something there. I was like, oh, wow. And so I unfortunately had to wake up my wife and be like, I don't know what's going on. And I turned the light on and there's nothing there. I can't see anything, but it hurt a lot. And then now my whole foot was hurting and I couldn't figure out what it is. So she went to where I walked and I heard a big thump and she said, I just killed a scorpion. I was newly moved to Arizona. I had never seen a scorpion before, but one had seen me, and apparently I had walked too close to it, and I had gotten stung by a scorpion on my foot. So I learned a lot of things about scorpions very quickly as I was going on the internet and calling and stuff too. Okay, so you don't die from being stung by a scorpion. They are not like snakes. Venom essentially is designed to kill you, to do as much damage to you as possible. Like you can lose limbs from venom. That's not what a scorpion has. A scorpion has a neurotoxin, and essentially its number one job is pain. So what it does is it goes into your system and gets into your nerves and activates the pain receptors on every nerve it can get to. And so from that point, it felt like my leg was on fire. All the way up, it just kept moving up further and further and further. They're like, you're not going to die. You're just going to wish you could cut your limb off. Like, you're going to find it. The only people who end up dying of scorpion are the ones who are essentially like really vulnerable to the poison, which is extremely small, and children because it can overwhelm their system. So if like a baby or something, that's where death comes from. So scorpions are really just about causing you misery. But in his defense, I did practically step on him. So so I had every reason in the world to forego this writing contest. But I didn't. I essentially I had to be on shorts, like nothing, no sock, no fabric could touch that skin. It was like it was screaming out in pain the entire time. But I sent my family off to go have fun. This is in the fall, like have some harvest fun. I propped my leg up on the side where it was touching as little as possible, and I got to work writing that story. And it wasn't until years later I looked back and like, no one was making you do that. Like no one, like you could, like you had the best reason to just walk away from this thing. But by God, I was like, no, they asked me for 5 pages. I'm going to give them 5 pages. I was like, oh, I really am a writer.
Oh my God. How did you do it in the contest that year?
My questions are more like, what? Why?
At the time it was like, so someone gave me a chance to write something. Okay, great. Like I wasn't even thinking about in terms of like prize money or anything like that. It was just more like, no, I have an obligation. Like I want to be this. I have something to write. I'm going to write it.
Patrick Duffy is on the panel.
Yeah,
I know. Yeah.
Exactly.
TV's Patrick Duffy.
Wait, how long did it take for your leg to stop feeling like you wanted to cut it off?
About 2 days. It basically it was the same way it went up. It went down again. So by the time it was like Monday, I'm like, oh, I guess I have to go to work, and I just have to go to work with my pain in my foot. So
with
it
like
went up to
God.
mid thigh essentially, and then it just like over the course of the day, it slowly went back down again until by Monday morning, I just had like a pain in my foot.
Man, it must have unloaded on you, because I know a number of people that have gotten hit and it hasn't been that bad.
Yeah,
Wow.
I think this was like a big guy. Yeah,
or a really little guy, aren't they? The littler ones.
Yeah, that's the two. Yeah, it's one or the other.
Jiminy Christmas, Olsen, that's awful.
That's one of those things where I'm like, I didn't know I needed to be afraid of that, and now
but
I
honestly,
know.
I've been living here in Phoenix for 15 years. This coming this summer, and I've only ever seen 3. I've only ever seen 3 scorpions. So it's there. And I even talked to some exterminators, and they said scorpions are some of the weirdest bugs. They just they move in really unpredictable patterns. Like one house in a neighborhood will have scorpions, and none of their neighbors will. And even bug experts are like, yeah.
It must be your scent. It must be your
something. They're hunters.
Oh, it's a
so
pheromone thing.
they are looking for bugs.
Or just your general vibe. They like hanging out with you.
Yeah.
They are real vibe hunters. Yeah.
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 They love a good scene,
He's like, vibe checks.
My favorite thing about them, what endears them to me, is that they kill and eat spiders, which I hate. And so...
Oh, but spiders kill and eat so many other bugs, and they keep your house bug free.
Well, in Arizona, the bats take care of the other bugs, and the scorpions eat the spiders. So that's the circle of life.
I don't know. This feels
more
rude.
like a parallel.
It feels rude.
Feels
rude. It's not really a circle. It's more a chain of death, but I prefer it in Phoenix.
Oh, that's a good name for the podcast.
Chain of death.
God, why did we lock that title
Chain
so
of
soon?
Death. You can redo the cover
You
art.
can really redo the cover art.
Chain of death. So
we're really going to have to change.
That you're not asking is, what did I write?
Oh, right.
Yeah, what did
the
you
answer
write?
to that is in your inbox right now.
Oh, no.
What?
Because
Wait,
we are about to
fun.
do a cold live read of something that has never been performed or seen outside of this thing. So, while they're all doing that, I will tell you and the rest of the audience what it is. So, this is what I was given was has to be a mystery story. It has to be set at a sewage treatment facility, and it has to involve a loaf of banana bread. So I will assign you parts. So Misty, you will be playing the role of Betty.
Thank you.
Pete, you will be playing the role of Neil. And Ryan, you'll be playing the role of Man. That's how bad of a writer I was.
I was born for this role.
And Kyle, you'll
I
be
didn't even
narrating.
come up with it, and I will be doing the stage directions. So I will be narrating this.
Great.
So, all right. So here we go. They have never read this before. I've never read anybody else read this outside of them too. So this will be interesting. This is Recipe for Disaster. Exterior forest night. Title card: Worcestershire, Massachusetts, 1928. Neil Furlong makes his way through the trees in an ill-fitting tweed suit. He stumbles through some bushes and discovers several low buildings with electric lights and machinery running inside. Neil takes a big sigh of relief, then immediately recoils in disgust. He tries to wave the smell away. That's when he notices a blade at his neck. The wielder, Betty, speaks into his ear.
Quite a stink, huh? Gets into your nose, your eyes. Soon you'll be tasting it. Clearly, you are not used to such a smell. Excuse me, to such an smell. So why not tell me a story?
Neil Furlong from the Food, Drug, and Insecticide Association. General Mills sent me.
The blade disappears as she steps back. Neil slowly turns around to see her. She's beautiful, mid-20s and dressed in khaki as if she'd just come from safari. A large leather satchel hangs at her hip.
Name's Beatrice Crocker, but you can call me Betty. Tell me, kiddo, you see any action?
Action? No, ma'am. I'm a botanist.
Terrific. Ask for a soldier, get a scientist. You up to speed?
The general said it was need to know, and I didn't.
Swell. Best we keep moving. No need to jibber-jabber outside.
Will the smell get better inside?
Better? Expect so. Way more powerful.
Interior sewage treatment plant night. They step inside and Betty hands Neil a floral scarf, then takes one for herself, putting it over her face.
Soaked in lavender. Little trick I picked up in India.
Betty opens her pack and pulls out a metal box. Inside her bag, Neil sees a square package wrapped in aluminum foil. Betty shuts the bag when she notices his glance. She holds the large metal box out and removes a wand connected to it by a wire. The box starts making clicking sounds as she waves the wand around.
It's a gift from Hans Geiger. More of a loan. Amazing what a man'll do for a taste of authentic strudel. We're using it to track the most radioactive of plants. The banana.
Miss Crocker, you must know bananas can't grow in Massachusetts.
Betty stands at a side door, the Geiger counter going crazy. With a devilish smile, she opens the door. Interior sewage treatment plant, hothouse, continuous. It's hot. Condensation dripping down the walls. Bright bulbs blaze overhead. All around, ripe bananas are growing. They remove their bandanas.
This is impossible.
You'd think so. Been chasing a recipe through South America. I kept hearing the best bananas were from the States. My research led me here.
Why Worcester?
A man's voice booms out from the shadows.
You need to study your history better, Mr. Furlong.
Neil starts to panic, but Betty motions for him to be calm.
Worcestershire was the first sewage treatment plant in the U.S. of A. To make this plan work, you need sunlight, heat, and fertilizer.
Why purchase what gets piped in for free?
Betty and Neil move through the stacks, following the voice. On a raised platform stands the owner of a voice, a large man with a handlebar mustache. His white suit is impeccable, as is the pistol pointed at them.
So, Betty Crocker, new accent. We finally meet.
You have me at a disadvantage.
And likely to remain so.
Why bananas?
I've watched these foreigners charging whatever they want to import their lousy wares. No more. We should be eating American fruit.
As he is speaking, Betty moves to Neil.
How's your throwing arm?
Shortstop on my college team.
Betty smiles and takes a round ball from her bag, slipping it into his hand, then moving away, drawing the man's eye.
I love that she has a round ball in her bag.
Yeah, of course.
But don't you see? America is a melting pot, a blending of the best. All our finest foods come from other countries.
I'm not here to debate. I'm here to kill you.
Just one more thing. Now!
Neil throws the ball and dives out of the way as the man starts shooting. The ball hits the weapon and sticks.
Oh, what is this?
Dough, rapidly rising. My own recipe. All it needs is an activating agent.
Betty rips open a packet and throws a spray of white powder into the air. As soon as it hits the dough, the ball begins to expand, swelling to double, triple in size. The man dropped to the ground, stuck. Betty runs over to the ladder, climbs up, Neil right behind her. But by the time they reach landing, the man is gone. On the dough is the gun and both of the man's shoes set where he pried himself free. Exterior, forest, night. Betty is sitting on a bench making notes in her red and white checked journal while drinking from a large bottle, the square package in her lap. Neil approaches.
I hope that's not alcohol. You know Prohibition is still in effect.
Of course not. It's cooking sherry. Just making sure it's still viable.
Can I ask, what was this all about? What have you been chasing?
I'm compiling the world's best recipes to help the Americans make the most of the meager scraps they have to work with. Take a seat.
He does. She opens the package, the knife appearing and disappearing in a second as she slices off a piece of brown bread. Neil sniffs, takes a bite, then devours it all.
What was that?
It's called banana bread. It's a great way to use bananas that are just about to turn.
Betty throws everything back into her bag. She takes to her feet, walking away.
But who was that man? Where are you going? Most importantly, how do you make this banana bread?
For that, kiddo, you'll need to buy the cookbook.
She walks off into the night. The end.
Bravo!
Please tell me you won.
Oh my God.
That's my next question. Like, thank you for doing that. That's one thing I read. I was so proud of it. Originally, title was "Yes, We Have No Bananas," which is a song. But I changed it to recipe for disaster before I actually sent it. So, what did you think? So, you're a judge. You got this. What do you think their response was?
If they have a soul, they'd say it's hilarious and so much fun. And the tongue-in-cheek, I thought it was great.
It's like a film noir, but with...
Yeah. Because you're asking, though, I'm guessing they totally didn't get it.
I'm going to wait for Pete to finish drinking so he doesn't do a spit
Was
take.
it? Oh, God. Okay, I'm finished.
They hated it. They absolutely hated it.
They have no soul.
There was two rounds, and I was statistically eliminated in the first round.
Wow.
Oh no. I'm sorry, but with prompts like that, with criteria like that, you cannot then be like, this better be like an artful masterpiece. It's like a sewage plant and banana bread.
I know, and it's 5 pages. I told the whole story.
Yeah, you did well. You did well. That was really fun.
Thank you. I feel
that's amazing.
You guys seem to like.
That was a total blast.
Pete's accent.
All over the map. A little bit all over the place, but I did.
You were finding it.
I had a name until you brought in the Southern Gentleman, and then I was like, no, I want to be that too.
You're doing such a good Boston accent, but then when you changed, I was like, all right, I'm Mid-Atlantic now.
Yeah, right.
Honestly, that's how I wrote her, is Mid-Atlantic. So there you go. So there you go. That was the fun thing.
That was beautiful.
So much fun.
For indulging me. That was
Thank
fun,
you. You make me want to dig out some of my old.
Absolutely. Let's do
Cold read. New segment. Cold read. I love it so much.
I love it. I have a little sketch packet we could do.
Oh, let's absolutely do it. I can tell you that even though I was just eliminated, I did go run to the second round just because you automatically went to the second. So I did write another one, which they like, but I was already mathematically out.
You were already out.
Point,
yeah.
So that might show up again at some point in the future as well. So
just imagine what you would have written had you not had scorpion venom coursing through your body.
Right.
I think you should thank the venom because I think it helped. I think
that scorpion gave his life for
we
have no bananas
for this piece of art.
Mm-hmm. Oh, do they die when they sting?
No, but
they die when
my
they
wife's
shoot.
comes down very hard.
Yeah. Same.
No, they're like wasps. They can just keep on stinging.
Yeah. Didn't you see Clash of the Titans?
Just for the love of stinging.
Gonna need a footnote. No, just kidding. We're gonna go to our second ad break.
That's right.
Oh my. Oh dear. Whatever shall I do?
Excuse me, madam. What is the problem?
As a human woman of the world, I need goods, but I also need services. I only wish there was a place that did both.
I have good news for you. There is a place that has both goods and services, and I am of that place. We're the other Orange. We offer services, and we also offer goods.
Those are both of the things I both need and want.
Then we should do business. the other orange. A place for human beings being human. We will find you.
Thank you to the
Why
other
do-
orange.
Why do
again
these
for-
people keep sponsoring this show?
I don't know.
All glory to the other orange.
It's the "we will find you" for me. We will
That's a-
find
I mean,
you.
you know.
It's a great
Don't
tagline.
worry.
That's a
Commerce
great-
will happen because we'll find you.
What a
I mean,
great motto.
So for those who are looking for goods and also looking for services, the other
Check out
orange
the other
is there
orange.
for you, whether you want them to be or not.
Uh,
All right, so all right, let's take this home then.
Take it home.
So we talked a little bit about what we had done and what we're doing. Anything else you want to talk about in terms of the projects that they are starting or are hoping to do?
I'm continuing on my one thing you'll see as the show goes on is that novels are long sailing, like it's like you get the bombast of leaving the port and then months of just still at sea.
Yeah.
And so I'm still at sea.
I always say I know Headstone is very much in development.
Headstone is in development, and I am on it. Next week, I'll have more. Next time, I'll have more. That's the CNC promise.
Mm-hmm.
It's giving chaos. I will share two creative projects that I just wrapped up this week outside of the chaos of the web designer fiasco. The first is I finished a coaching certification for integral coaching. It was like a 5-month process of getting certified and a lot of study, and I'm super proud of that. So that was-
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I officially wrapped yesterday. So that feels great and feels like there's more white space on my calendar to kind of breathe into other creative projects. And the other fun thing, this is what I was alluding to in my homework check. And the other thing I squeezed in last week was I performed with a live rock band as a backup singer in Minneapolis at the Amsterdam bar.
Oh my
if
God.
anybody knows
Lead
of it.
with that, Misty, for crying out loud.
I tried to, but then I needed someone to bookmark and I forgot to come back to it. So that's why we need the bookmark.
We didn't
but
know bookmarks yet.
That's right. That's right. But
They hadn't been invented.
That's right. But my boyfriend has had a band for 25 years. He's also like a corporate person, but he's had the band for a really long time, and they released a new album and they needed backup. And so I got to like rehearse with these. They're incredible musicians. It was so much better than live band karaoke, but it was super fun. And I dressed the part, but felt like an imposter, but did it anyway. And I survived.
Nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I took the plunge and started writing a play that I have been wanting to do for years. I tried to stop myself from talking myself out of it, and I decided to do it. So I was worried about, but then I actually discovered a quote from Jordan Peele, which is the last thought we're going to leave you with here. And he said, "When I'm writing the first draft, I'm constantly reminding myself that I'm simply shoveling sand into a box so that later I can build castles."
I love that.
I know. I was like, and that was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do.
It's a
I'm
good
going to
one.
shovel a bunch of sand, and
Cool.
then at the end,
We
put
love a metaphor.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there we go. You've heard a lot of chaos, but there's a little bit of craft in there too. So thank you all for tuning in. Obviously, we are happy to have you here. If you would like to go over to truestory.fm/join and give us a financial contribution to help us going, you'll get the episodes early. Plus, maybe some bonus content. We're working on some of that now. So, and plus, you get to enjoy all the other amazing shows that Podcast Impresario Pete Wright puts together, including Headstone. So thank you all for coming along. My fellow creatives, thank you for sharing and for participating in the madness. Always appreciate this. I always look forward to it, and I'm looking forward to the next one already, and we haven't even ended this one yet. So thank you, and we'll see you right back here in the makerspace.